Hey YouTube, welcome to Papa's Place. Um, this is the infamous everything you wanted to know about AR magazines, but were afraid to ask concerning 300 Blackout. I'm going to start with the magazines, especially. This is a Magpul Pmag. It's the Mo. It's the Gen 2 M2. It's what I have, and it helps me to illustrate the what the inherent problems with standard magazines are with 300 Blackout. If you are shooting Remington factory or Barnes factory, and I believe Fiocchi and Gemtech. I'm not too sure on the last two, but I know positive for sure on the first two. If you're shooting factory ammo, you will have zero problems using basically any AR-15 magazine that works. Okay? And the reason is that those ammo manufacturers are taking into account what AAC, or Advanced Armament, discovered in their development process. And here's what they discovered. The Pmag is the easiest thing for me to show you, and I'm going to hope that this shows up on the camera. Can you see this hump here on inside the magazine? It's against the neck of the these are 223 rounds. See how that hump is right against the neck, between the shoulder and the neck, and it keeps the round from moving forward in the magazine or coming and moving around at all. And as you feed, especially in the Pmag, because of this narrowed down, you'll see that as the case moves forward, it gets pushed over to the side, okay, from both sides. And that's why Magpul designed this part, was to push the rounds over to help with feeding and to aim the bullets towards the feed ramps. But you also see how this is their anti-tilt follower, how that follower uses that rib to function as a non-tilt. It uses that rib to stop the nothing like having a major brain fart in the middle of talking. The follower from tilting in the magazine. Okay. What AAC discovered in their development of the 300AAC round is that rather obvious. Here's a 300AAC round. This happens to be a Nosler 155 grain boat tail open tip. This is their custom comp bullet, and here's your 223. This one's much bigger around. Duh. And when you load them into the magazine, watch this one. Watch the first one. See, as I push it down, this hump pushed the bullet over. And as you add more rounds to the magazine, now this one's getting pushed over. It accentuates it and makes it worse. And what some people are experiencing, what some people have experienced, is that when you get a full magazine of these, that the follower and the rounds can bind up. See what I mean? how it's already popping up. And it just, the more rounds you load up, the worse the problem becomes. So what some people on the internet decided to do was to, especially in these magazines, the M2s, was to file down or take a Dremel and remove that hump. But that hump runs all the way down the magazine, all the way to the bottom. And that doesn't really work all that well. So what AAC's solution was, and you'll find this, and they put it in their, this is a little copy out of their owner's manual. I'll try and get it in here so you can read it. What they are saying is that you take the ogive of the bullet at 0.25 inches, which is also happens to be the diameter of a necked 223 5.56 round. This right here measures actually 0.253 is the spec. And that you, when you seat the bullets, you seat them to that 0.25, where the ogive is nothing more than where the bullet goes from being flat and it starts its curvature into the point. That's called the ogive. And you want to measure where the ogive is, 0.25 inches, and load so that that point is, guess what? Behind this rib. And that's what those factory ammo loads do. The shape of the bullet, of the ogive, and the shape of the bullet is such that they can do that, so that the protrusion doesn't come into play, so that this right here does not come into play at all. Okay. So that's why AAC says yes, it uses standard magazines. Yes, it does, if you're using factory ammo that is loaded to suggested specs and suggested by AAC. What AAC did with this, and I'll hold it up again and you can stop the video so you can see, what they've done is they've taken some different bullets that are very popular to use in 300 Blackout, and they're telling you what the overall length ought to be. And if you set your bullets to this overall length, then magically that portion of the ogive that is 0.250 inches is behind that lip in the magazine. Okay, and this is all part of every owner's manual on every upper or every rifle that AAC ships out the door. Okay, and you can go online to Advanced Armament and go to their customer support area and download their manual in a PDF format, so it's on the web. Okay. But you notice that list of bullets isn't very long. You know how many 308 bullets are out there in the world? Especially when times are tough like they are still kind of now, it's tough to get hold of your specific bullet. You know, try to find some Barnes 110 grain TSX bullets, or the Nosler ballistic tip 125 grain, or the Hornady. You can find the Hornady 150 grain, but try and find the Hornady 110 VMAX, you know, or the Spear 125 grain TNT. They're tough to find, and there's a lot more out there. You know, Spear also makes a 130 grain open tip bullet that would be great, but it's not on the list. So this list is far from being all-inclusive. Okay, so let me show you how I've come up with a way around this, and I'll do it in the next video. Ha ha ha! Gotcha. Got your hook. Now you want to find out how to fix the problem, huh? But anyhow. So there's the problem with the magazines. Now there are two magazines that seem to be getting higher ratings with fewer problems. That is the Lancer, the AW5 magazines, their latest revision, and D&H also makes a 300 Blackout specific magazine. Now it uses the standard, 5.56. I'm not sure if you can read that, but it says 5.56. It uses the standard 5.56 follower, and it's marked right on it. But they've changed the rib here inside the magazine, and they've also changed the feed lips a little bit to help alleviate the stacking problem. So those two magazines get major double thumbs up from everybody and their brother. If you're like me and you don't happen to have either one of those, I'll show you how to get around the problem in the next video. So if you have any comments, questions, post them down below. Remember, thumbs up, tell your friends, tell your buddies, tell your mama. And remember, keep smiling because it makes people wonder what you've been up to. Take care, YouTube. Bye-bye.